بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد، الدرس الخامس في بيان بداية الصيام اليومي ونهايته. The fifth gathering is regarding the starting time and ending time of the fast. And the Sheikh basically mentioned the ayah where it's mentioned. And this ayah is the ayah that comes after. It's in the same context of the ayat of Siyam. And it's this part that we want here. وَكُلُوا وَاشْرَبُوا حَتَّى يَتَبَيَّنَ لَكُمُ الْخَيْطُ الْأَبْيَضُ مِنَ الْخَيْطِ الْأَسْوَدِ مِنَ الْفَجْرِ. خَيْطُ الْأَبْيَض is referring to the light that comes and it's like a white light and it covers the whole horizon. That's the start time of Fajr. There is another light that comes, but that's just vertical. This light, and that first light is known as Al-Fajr Al-Kathib, the lying Fajr, because that comes and it goes straight away. So it's not that, it's one that comes and it covers the whole horizon and it stays, and obviously Fajr and starting after that. So until min al-Fajr, ثم أتم الصيام إلى الليل, then to the night. And the Shaykh will talk about the night basically referring to Maghrib, and we know that by two ways. We're going to get to that inshallah. So the Shaykh basically mentions that. Then he also mentions, and he says that's clear, everyone can see that. Just as everyone can see the starting of the month, which is a new moon. And then the Shaykh said this is takhfif, because in the beginning, we talked about last time, their fast. I think if fasted after Isha, it wasn't after Isha. It's basically if you sleep at night, it starts from then. It starts from then. So I think in the previous lesson, I said specifically Isha. It's not specifically Isha. It's as soon as they slept at night, it starts from them. And so the Shaykh actually mentions the incident of Qais ibn Sarmah al-Ansari. He came home and there wasn't food ready at the time. So instead, he said to his wife that, okay, basically want to have relations with you. So he went, and when his wife came, she came upstairs and she found out that he was sleeping because of how tired he was. He was working the whole day. And because he had slept, he hadn't eaten yet, and he had fallen asleep. So then that means the next day he couldn't eat because he slept now. So what happened the next day? Ghushi alayhi, he actually fainted. And then this was said to the Prophet, and then the ayat came and they became happy, alhamdulillah. And then this ayah is also talking about that even at night, some of them would stay away from marital relations, but that was really difficult for them. Some had actually fallen into it, so they had the tawbah to Allah, and Allah forgave them. And as for, so that's the starting time, which is Fajr time, and then the ending is the night. The first way that we know it's Maghrib is ila. Ila is for ghaya, meaning until this moment, and not including the moment. So until the night, till the starting of the night, and not including the night. And the starting of the night is what? The starting of the night. وَاللَّيْلُ لَيْسَ مِنْ جِنْسِ النَّهَارِ فَصَوْمُ يَنْتَهِي عِنْدَ بِدَايَةِ اللَّيْلِ بِغُرُوبِ الشَّمْسِ. Yeah? So it's as soon as the sun sets, that's when it starts. And then second is the hadith of Rasulullah, إِذَا أَقْبَلَ اللَّيْلُ مِنْ هَاهُنَا وَأَدْبَرَ مِنْ هَاهُنَا وَغَرُبَتِ الشَّمْسِ فَقَدْ أَفْطَرَ الصَّائِمُ. So if the sun sets, then قَدْ أَفْطَرَ الصَّائِمُ. And then the Shaykh mentions how there are some people that they'll stay awake the whole night and then they'll sleep before Fajr and miss Fajr. And he says that these people have made a number of mistakes. The first is that they started the fast before the actual time. The second is that they missed Fajr and Jama'ah. And thirdly, they end up delaying the Salah. The next chapter is regarding the ruling of the niyyah in fasting. There are two pillars of fasting. The first is having the niyyah, and the second is staying away from all of the nullifiers, mufattirat. And the Shaykh mentions how every ibadah needs intention. Then he says, وَبِهَا تَتَمَيَّزُ الْعِبَادَاتُ عَنِ الْعَادَاتِ. We'll take this when we go through Arba'in Nawiyah, but basically what this is referring to is that there are two main benefits of having the niyyah. First is tamyiz al-ibadat عن العادات. It differentiates the worships from normal actions, meaning it differentiates, let's say if you just didn't eat the whole day, that's something normal. But when you have the correct intention, then it becomes an act of worship. So تمييز العبادات عن العادات. And the second is تمييز العبادات بعضها عن بعض. meaning you differentiate between different acts of worship themselves. So, for example, if I pray 2 rak'at, right, what are these 2 rak'at? Is it 2 rak'at of Fajr? Is it 2 rak'at of the 2 sunnah before Fajr? Is it Tahiyyat al-Masjid? What differentiates between all of them? It's not the way that you pray it, you pray the exact same. Yeah, Fajr, the actual Fajr you might recite more generally, but it is the same that you pray. And what differentiates between them is the niyyah. And the timing of the niyyah is the night. And the Shaykh mentions, because first he mentions the adillah, man lam yubayyit as-siyam. He says yubayyit, from what I've heard before, is yabitu. ما بيبيت الله أعلم. قبل طلوع الفجر فلا صيام له. Just be at night. And then other narrations also. The second narration, this one here, فلا صيام له, Albani sent to this one, so Albani authenticated that one. Now, so for the adillah, and also logically, if you don't make the intention at night and you make the intention during the day, then you've not had the intention throughout the whole fast, so that you've not had that pillar for the whole time of fasting. And the Shaykh mentioned that niyyah is in the heart, so you don't have to verbally say anything. And he mentions a few statements of Shaykh Islam which are quite good. That the first is هو حين يتعشى عشاء من يريد الصوم ولهذا يفرق بين عشاء ليلة العيد وعشاء ليالي رمضان. When a person eats, the way you eat is different. The food that you eat, the timing is slightly different. Basically, time of suhoor basically is different. So why are you eating different? Because you know it's Ramadan. So that in of itself is your intention. And he also says, the second quote, كل من علم أن غدا من رمضان وهو يريد صومه فقد نوى وهو فعل عامة المسلمين. Anybody that knows, okay, tomorrow's Ramadan, we're going to fast, that is your intention. So basically, anyone that just thinks, oh yeah, tomorrow's Ramadan, and you plan your day as though tomorrow's Ramadan, that's your intention. And likewise, anybody who wakes up for suhoor or has certain food, or does anything different which you do, which will be specific to Ramadan, that in of itself is your intention. So it's not big, it's not really a very difficult issue of the intention. And then as for this is for fard fasting. As for nafal, then for that you are allowed to make your intention during the day, because the Prophet did that. He came to Aisha and he said, do you have anything? And Aisha said no. So the Prophet said, فَإِنِّي إِذًا صَائِمٌ, then I am fasting. However, there's a condition, بشرط أن لا يوجد مناف للصوم, that as long as you've not done anything which breaks your fast. So the person didn't eat the whole day, so halfway through the day he said, okay, I'm fasting. So if it's a nafil fast that you want to do, then for that you are allowed. Let's you wake up and you realize, oh, half the day is gone, I'm not eating, let me fast. It's permissible for you to start then. And we know that way that hadith يخصص هذا الحديث. So this hadith is khas for nafil, and this is عام. This is عام. This is a bit of usul fiqh in there. نعم. أنا الشيخ says وصحة دنية التطوع من النهار مروية عن جماعة من الصحابة, and the correctness of having the intention for the tatawwa, for the nafil fasting from the day, it's been narrated on a number of the companions, منهم معاذ بن مسعود وحذيفة وفعله أبو طلحة وأبو هريرة وابن عباس وغيرهم والله أعلم. And with this we conclude today's lesson. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.